Welcome to the Love, Sex, and Leadership podcast, where you can discover simple tantric teachings to embody your true power, awaken your soul's wisdom, and live an inspired life as a natural, intuitive, and heart-centered leader.
Taking the awareness of our journey yesterday, all the different pieces and archetypes and areas in your inner world, beginning to take a look at as we give some framing and discourse and understanding into this alignment in your body. And so right now, as you hold your hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, you're holding these 2 points of this central channel in your body. You can imagine there's a single column of energy like your spine on the front and back side of your body. And this single column of energy, and called the Sushumna Nadi, is where place to which energy flows and moves through your body. On the left side, you have Ida. On the right side, you have Pingala. You have this dance. There's a serpent-like movement. If you've ever seen the back of an ambulance, you'll see 2 serpents moving their way up the spine. This is a symbol of also what's happening in your body. So if you visualize with your eyes closed, a single column of energy right down from the crown of your head down to your base. And on the left side, one serpent. On the right side, another serpent. And they're weaving themselves together, supporting you in your life force, in your aliveness. And in our bodies, it's characterized that the left side of our body is more associated to the feminine, the right side more associated to the masculine. And when we make our way all the way up to our brain, the left side is more associated to logic, reason, understanding. The right side is more of the creative impulse inside of us, the intuition, more of the felt sense within. So even within our body channels and the framework inside of this bioelectric magnetic vibrating machine known as your body, there's a dance, there's a balance. And so part of what we look at today is this weaving of energies between your masculine and feminine, and where we can meet more of the edges of these 2 polarities to create a more symbiotic relationship together. So deep breath in, letting out a sound on the exhale. And when you're ready, gently, slowly opening the eye. And have some nice space here today. Space to dive deeper into the spaciousness inside of you. So if you look around the room right now, we're surrounded by a group of male bodies that have known the journey of being in, you could say, more masculine or male energy in that way. And so male bodies are more connected to this place of, you could say, the logic, the reason, the penetrative power. You place a hand right now onto your cock. Actually worked with some of the shame around that yesterday. When this cock gets erect, it's penetrating to create life. The feminine in the female body, the yoni, is receiving sperm to create life. So there's a dance between masculine and feminine inside of us, between this penetrative power and this receptivity. And what I'm sure some of you learned last night is learning how to receive is a fucking art. And it takes a certain quality to calm the body down to actually learn how to receive, which is a feminine characteristic. So this is that penetrative part that wants to give and offer life to the earth, and the feminine that's there to receive and to take that in. So these energies are dancing weaving themselves through this bioelectric magnetic vibrating machine known as a body made of cells. Cells, positive charges and negative charges, creating matter, creating bones. You have the bone structure, which allows the water and the blood to flow. Both of them need each other. So part of what we're journeying with today is where you can meet the deeper edges of your masculine energy and where you can meet the deeper edges of your feminine energy. And what I found for myself, the first time someone said that I had a feminine energy, I was like, fuck off. My masculine male alpha brain was like, nah, I don't fucking talk that lingo. But I've started to realize that there was something else inside of me that I was neglecting, something else inside of me that I was pushing down. And the more I got to know that feminine energy inside and leaned into there, what happened was the exact thing that I was most afraid wouldn't happen. And I was terrified if I went into my feminine that I would lose like the penetrative power of my masculine. Who's ever had that fear in some way? And actually what happened was the more I leaned into my feminine, the stronger, the more on point, the more virile, the more penetrative power with love happened with my masculine. So we're weaving these places between this part of us as the masculine that loves to penetrate, but often is terrified of being penetrated. Loves to give, but is often terrified of receiving. So when these energies can coincide and coexist more effectively together, the result is you as a male body know both energies inside of you more congruently, more effectively, with more love, appreciation, and respect. And so one of the areas that we're going to look at this morning is a journey into the masculine energy, especially around the light and the dark. Because if we look at masculine energy, there's a dark density to it if we're down in the lower chakras, and there's a light, more, you could say, air energy up in the upper chakras, connecting us into the heavens. So the light is connecting us up, and the dark is connecting us down into the earth. So we want to see, even in our masculine energy, where these two polarities can coexist more effectively. Deep breath in. And when we're speaking about the light masculine, this is often what gets praised out in the world. You're a good man. You can listen with compassion and let me share everything to you. Witness without judgment. Love me unconditionally. Continue to show up over and over and over again. And there's a part of society and partners and the feminine that just ultimately, and some part of them, wants all men to be light masculine heroes. Like, be that light masculine that I can just be there to be the shoulder on, to cry on, to love. But at the same time, the same part of society that loves that light masculine hero still wants the dark masculine to fuck her to God. Still wants the dark masculine to take, to ravage, to consume. So what happens when we look at the dark masculine, most of the representations of that in our world is existing in the shadow. The dark masculine taking without consent, the dark masculine being violent and breaking and consuming and I wouldn't say manipulating, but utilizing the potency and the power of his sword to have power over rather than power with. So what we're inviting as we get to know these dark and light masculine energies is where we can take some of the shadow parts of the light masculine that's always trying to be the savior, always just trying to be that individual, bring that more into the light of awareness, and take the dark masculine and actually learn how to penetrate with love, to penetrate with the power that's inside of you. And unfortunately, for a lot of male bodies, we've been shamed blamed and fucking literally castrated for feeling like and being told our masculine penetrative power is too much. Who's ever felt this in their life? And that same part of society that's saying, please penetrate me, take me, consume me is like, no, you've done it wrong. You're a fuck up. You know, you've abused me. You've taken advantage of me. So the result is, and I know for myself it happened, there was this feeling of like walking on eggshells of like, you want me to be strong. You want me to be light. You want me to, what the fuck do you want of me? I don't know. So I'm just going to become a passive, light masculine prick that is generally in the savior mode, just trying to support people because I'm afraid of being in my power. Because society, it's almost like the easier way to deal with things. And unfortunately, that is where I feel like a lot of the masculine energy has gone to. And it's not about only being in the dark or only being in the light. It's actually where these things can begin to coexist more effectively together. Deep breath in.
Yeah, some archetypes of the light and the dark masculine we can take from the Christian religion. It's the one that the domain that I grew up in when I was at primary school. So I learned all about Jesus Christ, who is the savior archetype. He is the light masculine. Or that's the way he's been portrayed. Obviously, we find out more about his connection with Tantra and Mary Magdalene, and actually this guy was pretty much in dark masculine. But what was taken by society and was taken by religion was this light archetype where, he's the savior. He's here to save us all, and he doesn't have any darkness. And the darkness is outsourced to the devil. Or Pan, right? So the devil gets all this, and we need to fight against the devil because the devil is bad. But every woman wants a bit of devil inside her. 60% of women have a rape fantasy. And that's just the ones that declare it. 60% of women have a rape fantasy. And it's not that they want to be abused. It's that they want to be dominated. They want to feel that they can be claimed, that they can be taken, that they can be guided into deeper aspects of their love. And as Aaron said, fucked to God by this deep, penetrative masculine power that is connected to death and source at the same time. Deep breath.
Doesn't know.
But because we've been told that we need to push the dark away, we need to push the devil away, it has gone into the shadow. So there's a difference between dark, the potent, the connected to earth, to matter, and shadow, the parts of us that are hidden. Now, we have put a lot of our dark, we've all known these guys who have been growing up, the bad boy, who gets all the women, he acts like a complete fucking dick. He treats them all like shit, and he gets to fuck way more women than we do. Did anyone have this in that field? Maybe you were the dark mass, this bad boy? I was trying, but I could only do it when I was doing drugs and when I was doing alcohol. Then I could be the bad boy. Otherwise, I was very soft, actually, and very connected to my feelings. When my partner, my ex-partner, the mother of my kids, first got pregnant, I went straight into the light masculine. I'm like, okay, I'm the provider. I'm going to go to work. I am going to become the savior. And I did. I gave everything to my family. I gave everything to my woman. I gave everything to my kids, and I now have 2 kids. And because I wasn't taking care of my needs first, and I was doing everything for them, because I had this idea of that's what a man is supposed to be, I was cut from my sexuality. I wasn't fucking her to God. And eventually, she went and fucked somebody else who did have a dark masculine and who could fuck her to God. And I lost my family. It was the most painful experience I ever had in my life. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And it transformed me in ways that I could never have imagined. And made me able to claim a woman like Amanda, who is my partner now. and you did this so fucking hard, hey, your dark masculine is needed. And if you don't go into your dark masculine, you're going to fucking lose everything. I need to get that strong to get a mess. I'm not saying you need it that strong, and I'm hoping that you don't have to go through that. And I'm hoping that you can get some sense, the power, the potent power of the dark masculine without having to lose everything first. And breath. So we're going to give you some opportunities to really feel this dark masculine, to bring up all of your judgments and all of your fears around the dark masculine so that we can put them out into the field and pick up these pieces and reintegrate them into the whole so we can be whole, powerful as fuck, mad. Who's in? Fuck I get.
Yeah. And so part of what that assimilation journey is getting honest with the part in you that probably is a bit pissed off with some men on the planet. Anyone a little frustrated with any of male leadership, politics, fucking bullshit that's thrown at us all the time? Yeah, so part of that is that which you judge, that which you condemn, whatever you judge, it owns you. If you don't own that, if you don't own the part of you that's an abuser, that's a rapist, that's violent, all these pieces, then what happens is that energy owns you. Now, I'm not moralistically condoning raping, violence, and doing that. But what I am saying is if you don't know the capacity to kill another, the capacity to rape another, then you are more dangerous than the person who does. Because that shit's inside of you, all of it. That part of you that can kill, that can rape, that can abuse. If you're like, no, that's not me. I'm the nice guy. I'm the nice guy. All the women like me because I'm nice and they can come to me.
In a friend zone.
Exactly. But when you own that power, that doesn't mean you're like, oh, I'm a fucking man and I can do all. It's just like there's an energetic frequency that's inside of you that is felt. It's felt not only by your fellow brothers, but it's especially felt by the feminine. And even more so, and part of what we're weaving together is this feminine that's inside of you that's wanting to come out and to express and to feel safe. You know who's going to make her feel safe? That dark masculine lord that's inside of you. That dark masculine being with a sword that's going to say all that bullshit that you've been dealing with, all that stuff that you've been taking on, all that stuff that has been thrown at you that you haven't been standing up for, that you've been being pushed around like a rag doll. How does she inside of you feel about all the times when him inside of you doesn't stand up? Let yourself get pushed around. You know how she feels? This dude can't create safety for me. So as a result, and I'm sure every one of you can relate to this, what happens is once you get into relationship for a little bit, and first the woman meets your strong king and your warrior and your protector, but then once love starts to be present, that little pissed off girl inside that's always been looking for safety starts to come out and create havoc. Who's had this happen? And you're like, oh my God, what fuck? Oh shit. You are messy, woman. Like, let me hide you down, father, talking to the inner one inside, hoping that nobody sees her. But what does that do? It creates more separation inside of this bioelectric magnetic vibrating machine. So to have integration means you have to meet that woman inside that's maybe been pushed down for a long time. And for the majority of men on this planet, that female energy has no seat at the table. However, when she does begin to have a seat on the table and she recognizes that safety isn't something that
the outside world create, safety is something that her dark masculine king provides for her. And when she feels safe, then she's a radiant, beautiful queen that wants to meet the world. In my book, The Embodied Man, Chapter 6 is called Awakening the Inner Queen. I would never put that on the fucking title because it would scare the shit out of guys. However, to me, for a man to be embodied, he has to know that queen energy inside, or he's only going to project that always onto the feminine on the outside. And the feminine on the outside, no matter how hard she tries, eventually she's going to do something to disappoint you. She's going to do something that you're like, see, told you I can't trust you. See, you're not good enough. Only because that woman inside is just perpetuating the victim pattern that's been there since the moment that she didn't feel safe enough to be in the body. Deep breath in. This is where integration work comes in. This is where these two energies meet, coincide, connect, communicate. And this is the framing for the embodiment work that we will do today. So you absolutely today are going to meet some edges of your being on the dark masculine side, maybe even on the light masculine side, and also on the feminine side. And my highest encouragement is meet it with curiosity, meet it with totality, and meet it by bringing what maybe has been in the shadow from either side of these up in to your awareness so that there can be a deeper integration inside. And this, to me, is probably the most important thing a man can do to know himself more deeply, is to have a healthy relationship with both this feminine and the masculine inside so that there's a wholeness inside. So the feminine isn't always looking, oh my God, are you going to complete me? Are you going to help me feel better inside? Or the masculine is just often projecting the feminine onto the outside because inside of him he feels alone, empty, and scared, which is a lot of men on this planet with a big, strong physique and big, strong, all of that, who actually inside of them just feel empty, scared, and alone. Not all, but a lot of times that tenderness inside has never had a seat at the table to be seen, to be heard, and to be felt.
Jails are actually full of these men. Jails are full of men, first of all, and they're full of men who have not had a safe and healthy place to express their feminine. As soon as they show any sign of emotion, bam, it's shut down because it's a sign of weakness. This is what I was told as a child. So therefore, I exist in opposition to the feminine. Emotions are feminine? Are female? Okay, so I can't show that because if I do, then I get called a girl. Stop crying like a girl. Stop whimpering like a girl. You're either a girl or you're gay. Either way, you're feminine. So what boys are told when they're younger, is what I was told, was if you show your emotions, if you even have emotions, that means you're not a man. And so what we do is we externalize the emotions. We push them out. We're like, women are just too, like, they're too emotional. And we cannot hold them because we don't know how to hold our own feminine. And I say this over and over again, there is no men's work without meeting the feminine. There are so many people doing men's work out there, and there's nothing about the feminine. It's all about how to become more masculine. For me, yeah, it's great. There's some great work out there, but for me, there is no integration. There is no real men on the planet if they do not know how to experience and hold their feminine fully. Deep breath.
Taking a moment here and just close down the eyes and just let all of these words land into your body and just ask yourself, How is your relationship with your inner masculine, inner feminine? Do they have an equal seat at the table? Is there an awareness of these two parts? And with morning, we're really going to dive into some of the shadows and the judgments and the pieces around how we maybe judge ourselves and our own masculine, and especially how we judge the masculine on the outside. Just resting there into noticing, what judgments do you have, the masculine inside of you and the masculine on the outside?